Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, April 26th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, NVIDIA, MSTY, not AMZ, SMCY, and PLTY. But first, I mentioned this yesterday, and when I was in the city talking to Rec Shares, they mentioned they have a fund that they filed for, and of course, it's worth talking about real quick. It's a covered call ETF on, guess what? Well, there's four of them. There's a coin one, there's an NVIDIA one, there's a Tesla one, and more importantly, there's an MSTY one. All right, finally, some competition, right? So if we go here, we click on the MSTR covered call ETF. You'll get some information. I don't know if you guys have this, but I can share it in my Discord if you don't. But basically, from what I can tell, it is pretty much the YieldMax fund, except the only difference is they're going to trade options on 50% of the fund's net assets, 0 to 50%. So I'm not sure. I believe they're going to be exposed to MSTR in 100% of the assets, but maybe they'll sell calls with up to 50% of those. So, if they have whatever 100 shares, obviously they would do options on 50 shares. Obviously, you can't trade options on 50 shares, but you get what I mean. So I'm guessing, they would capture the upside or the downside on MSTR 100%, but they would sell calls on 50%. I'm not sure if that fits what anyone is looking for, but it is interesting, that's for sure. All right, how about the trades? That's why we're here. That's why you guys are up early. If it is early for you, I don't know. It's actually kind of feels like it's late for me. I'm going to do 175%. Good morning, everyone in the chat. Real quick, let's see who's here. All right. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, LA. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Sancho. Good morning, Ganga. Good morning, Slim Booter. Good morning, Verona. Jay Park, MJ, and I think I covered everyone. All right. So who had trades yesterday? Everybody. Okay. So let me fast forward to our best friend. Let's see who our best friend is. MSTY. All right, what do we got? We got row 165 is where it begins. Where does it end? Where does it end? Does it end? It doesn't end. It doesn't end. All the way to 219. So that being said, before I go any further, if you enjoy this content, and I know there's only 53 of you live currently, but if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. This crap does take a long time. And I love how people say automate it. Yeah, sure, just automate this. How the hell are you going to automate this? Again, and maybe there's a way. I'm not techie enough to figure that out, but you can't, it's just impossible to anyway. I'm not gonna cover it here. I have to go to the file. There's just too much action. All right, so here's the MSTY file, and let's get the Zoom going here as well. We're going to do 175%. Any questions in the chat, I will answer as we go. It's Saturday. Let's chillax and get through it here. It's raining over here in New Jersey. I'm not sure about you guys. Yeah, Peter said it. Smash the like button, as they say. That's the going term here, right? All right. Synthetic wise, they didn't touch any really of that. They didn't touch any of the synthetics. I know some of you are probably hoping, since they closed out the calls and got their asses kicked, essentially, that they would cash out on some synthetics. but they did not. 330, it's up 11.73%. The 270 is actually gone, so I can hide this now. I should have hit it already. Hide sheet. And so they have a 330 and they have a 340. 340 is also up. They're both up, but they're not up by a lot. So the fact that they did not close these, you know, it's good. I think it's good. You know, they just closed out a whole bunch, and they did make enough really to pay us out. Maybe not $2, but they did make us, you know, a decent amount of money. All right, so how did MSTR do yesterday? Let's get to that right here. MSTR, it went up 5.24%. All right, that's a pretty damn good day, especially considering the week it's already had. Now, MSTY went up 3.06%. Now, if we go to the beginning of the week, let's see. Where do we start? 21st, right? No, 20. Yeah, 21st. Where's the 21st? No movement. Oh, there it is. Why is this out of sequence here? Oh, man, I screwed it up. All right, so let's go all the way down. I just want to see for the week how we did. All right, so MSTR went up 15.49% yesterday. I mean, for the week. And MSTY went up 10.74. So yeah, man, unfortunately, not we didn't capture most of the we captured enough. I'll say that. How about that? All right, let's move on. And let's see what happened. Did we get capped? Of course we did. I mean, it's not even a question anymore. But we'll just go down the line and see what they closed. This 550 was chilling up here, way up here. They made 234 credit on that. That was a buy call, 367.50. MSTR closed at 368.71. So obviously they probably closed this a little earlier before the close, and they cashed out. Overall, they made $60,500. I can make that green, right, to show that's an overall net credit. That's part of the insurance plan. Now, going here, again, anything in white, we did not cover yet, and there's a lot. Here's 50 dinky contracts. Again, they made another 234 per share. Not even worth mentioning, really, but let's cover the 6,800 contracts. This had a 362.50. Again, MSTR closed at 368. So unfortunately, they lost this trade. The call credit spread, the buy call part was a 385. So it didn't really help much. It gave an additional 10 cents per share. So overall in this trade, they lost $2.6 million on that one. All right, let's go to the next one, 5,105 contracts. They had a 355 strike here. What was that? All right. And yeah, it got blown through. So they had to cover the gap, 1243. The buy call was 385. So that offset some of the damage. Not too much, though. In the end, they lost $3.7 million on this trade. Keep it going. 10,000 contracts. 355 strike price, blown through again. Because again, MSTR, it ended up closing around 368. So yeah, unfortunately, they had to cover that, 1243. A whopping 10 cents per share on the buy call. In the end, on this trade, they lost $6.3 million. All right, let's keep it going. This was, again, a 335. I didn't see any activity on this. So I'm not sure if I screwed that one up, but I'm just going to skip it. 1,000 contracts, 362.50 strike. This, again, blown through. They had to pay 743. Not too much of a loss, so at least there's that. In the end, they lost, what, 391,000. So both of these should be red for a loss. Again, not all of these are pretty much a loss. Here's calls that they bought where they made 10 cents. They made $1.23. and then they made 10 cents. And then here's 6,000 contracts, sold call 357.50, blown through 10.49. And then here's another 6,100 contracts, but at 362.50. Again, blown through. They had to pay 7.43 per share. If I highlight all these lines together, everything is a loss. They lost 6.7 million. Again, we got capped. Nothing we could do. These are the kind of weeks we don't want. We don't want a week like this, right? Such a quick upside that we can't. Oh my God, what's happening? My scrolling skills. Okay. Yeah, we want slow upward movement. I know we're not going to get that, but it is what it is. All right. So where were we? I know this is hard to follow. 4,000 contracts. We have a 362.50. Unfortunately, that also got blown through. That was close, 743. And then we got 5,750 contracts, 360, blown through, 946. They had to pay per share. So if I highlight those 4 lines, they lost about 5 million on that. So again, we're taking the hit left and right on these weeklies. Slow scroll. Did I cover that? Yeah. Thousands the next one. All right, here's 2 calls that they bought. 393. Oh no, these are sold calls actually. These were the high ones. I don't know if you guys remember these 390, 392.50. These are good. They won these trades. So these were the ones that I loved, and they captured all of the upside. I wish they did more of these, but if you scroll to the right, overall they made money, but not a lot. $164,500 on that. So pretty good stuff on that. Again, I'm happy that they did open those trades. Better than nothing. And then here's some, again, more buy calls here. 370 strike. They made $1.23 per share on those. So you see here, overall, they made $713,000 yesterday. However, the overall trade is still a loss of $686,000. So unfortunate, I know. And then we got 2,000 contracts. We got the 390. This is 390 safe. They've only paid 6 cents to close it. Then they had a 370 buy call. They made $1.23 credit. So overall, if we highlight the 2, unfortunately, it's a loss of 38,000. So let's keep going. 8,225 contracts, 362.50. That's a loss, 7.43 per share. Same thing down below, 7.43 per share. I'm just going to keep going down. Buy call, 385. They made 10 cents per share. And then all these others, these are losers as well. 362.50, 350, 347. They had to pay a pretty penny to close out them suckers. And if you highlight these suckers, you highlight them all, that's a loss of 27 million. Again, on the weeklies. Very, very painful. But we got blown through. Keep in mind, yes, we still have the synthetics that on the way up, they made money, right? On paper, because they didn't cash anything out yesterday. But they're still, when they do, that should more than offset any damage done here. So that's the plus side. But, again, these numbers are what they are. So we got to move on, hope for the best in the future. We'll see. It was a rough week. We don't want an upward week. We don't want an unexpected green week like this, right? But again, MSTY did go up. It's not like it didn't go up this week. MSTY went up, I think, double digits, we said. So it's pretty damn good. And then they opened a whole bunch of new trades. Again, I'm not going to cover it here. I'm going to cover it on the holdings tab really quick because it's just easier. All right. So what do they have for next week? Ignore that top line, that buy call. I don't know why that always happens. I feel like they just let it be. Let it be. All right. So they're selling calls. They got 4 strikes. Do we consider that scatter-to-do? Not really. It's only 4. 3, 4, 5, and 6% out of the money. This is kind of weak sauce, to be honest. This is not far enough out of the money for another 5 trading days. They have the insurance policy, the call credit spread, and again, the way Bitcoin's moving, I don't know. Maybe it'll chill out next week. I'm hoping the market overall is red next week, to be honest, for my certain options trades. But yeah, 3 to 6% out of the money. Not much wiggle room next week. Outstanding shares, big jump, by the way. Let me find it. An additional 3.3 million. That's insane. That's an increase of 2.54%. Wow. All right, here's the recap. 30-day IV, 71%. Outstanding shares, 134,425,000. Total net income, unfortunately, now it's a loss of $86 million during this 4-week cycle. All right, sound good? All right, great. Let's move on. This tab, I figured I'd cover it as well because again, keep in mind, MSTR went up 5.24%. MSTY captured 3.06. IMST captured 2.21. That's more than I thought they would because they're capped to hell. If you look here, they still have the synthetic, not the synthetic, the sell call, the 350, but that expires May 16th. So, yeah, I mean, who's winning? If you look like for this week, right, the 20, we'll highlight the last 4 days. MSTY, again, went up double digits, 10.46. IMST went up 6.5%. So far, MSTY is still the dominator. Reaction, I'm sorry, but I had to do it. There's way too many trades. And this is another reminder, if you enjoy this content, to hit the like button. I know, it's annoying. Group D declares on 11 days on May 7th. All right, here's what you're here for, the payment information. So there's that 86 million. There's that loss. All right, that's for the weeklies. But keep in mind, yeah, we already made 329 million on the synthetics. So that's a total net income of 243 million. And you take that per share, that comes to $1.81. No longer $2, but it's okay. $1.81 is still much greater than the last distro of $1.33. We can't use the Rodometer, but we will focus on the IV of 71%. If you look at the IV payment, that could be $1.29. So again, the range of payments so far, they don't pay next week, they pay the week after. But the range so far would be anywhere from $1.29 to $1.81. You know, either way, I think it's still pretty damn good. All right, back to the holdings information. We do have synthetics. We said we had 2, 330, 340 positioned very well. They expire May 16th, less than a month away. So they'll have to cash them out soon. Hopefully MSTR can still stay up and up. You know, again, I would be happy with a flat week next week. Maybe slightly upward movement. All right, so the value of the MSTY fund is 3.1 bill. The NAV is 23.59. Trade price exact. All right, here's what the synthetic's worth. If you're curious, it's worth $2.37 per share. So if they did cash it out, that's how much they would have made per share, which is pretty awesome. Total contracts on the synthetic is 85,015. Total contracts they're selling calls on, same amount. You like the squeaky chair. And total call using the call credit spread, 59,595. So 70% they're doing the call credit spreads on. All right. So that's it. That's the update for MSTY. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top and we're going to see is, let's see. I think everyone had a trade. CONY, let's see. PLTY, did SMCY had a trade? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go down the line because it's Saturday. But first, I have to get to my comments here. I haven't read them in a while because I needed to cover MSTY for the MSTY people. The chair is a bonus sound effect for you guys. Pistol Pete. Hey, what a name. That's from was it Best Man? I think it's Best Man. All right. What do we got here? Uh-oh. LA is not happy. Yeah, we got blown through. It's all right. No, it's all right. We're still making money overall. Carlos. Thank you, Carlos. I reached my goal of 1K shares of MSTY and 1K of NVIDIA. I reinvest all my dividends to get there. What would be a third ETF to start? Well, so who says you need a third, right? But I mean, again, that depends. Do you want to live off the income? Do you want growth? Are you not touching the income? Because that means, you know, are we limiting this to YieldMax? Do you want weekly income? You know, do you like diversification? You know, but if you're talking about individual covered call ETFs, the one that shines out right now is PLTY. No doubt about it. PLTY is a game changer right now, and their IV is amazing. So it's hard to deny that. But it's always good to check out their weeklies though, because they have a lot of good ones. You know, LFGY is awesome. GPTY is a little safer version, pretty good, pays weekly. Ultis, I like Ulti. I still, you know, will always like Ulti. And then, of course, YieldMax. You get a bit of everything, and then you could root for the whole team if you want to, at least. MJ says PLTY as well. Is it Verona? Hopefully I'm saying that right. You're welcome. All right, SMCY. Oh, we got a SMCY fan. Wow. Hi there. Look at that name. Hi there. Now they got synthetic bailout money so they can waste. Oh, wait. John's got some suggestions. Here we go. I would not say TSLY, but the other ones are pretty good. Even CONY. CONY's a tough one lately. But CONY, you know, they're still pretty damn good. You know, Coinbase is the freaking monopoly of crypto, in my opinion, at least in the US. I know Robinhood has it too, but anyway, let's continue. I'll look at the questions as we go. So TSLY had trades. Yeah, they did a lot of trades. Buy to close. Oh my God. Buy to close. Oh my God. Yeah, they're getting beat up too. So they lost 2.6 mil there, 4.6 mil there, 4.7 there, 4.4 there, 6.1 there. I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, but Tesla flew freaking crazy. It went up high, and we were already capped, and it was just a bad day. They lost 10 million on this one. Guys, I hate to report it, but Tesla did not have a good day. They lost $40 million on their trades. So kind of a rough outing. So if we go to here, oh, let me get the zoom. Proper zoomage. The only problem going live at 6:30 is I'm not done until like 7:30ish, which is pretty late to get my ass to the gym because you know our day's already beginning at that point. But I do still like going live. All right, so we have a Murney fan here. All right, so Tesla, it went up 8.93% in one day. I mean, that we don't, especially on a Friday, man, we don't want that. Like, that's tough. This is why I don't like Tesla, because Tesla does crap like this. And look at, Tesla was not ready for it. It only captured 3.97%. So it captured 44% of the upside. You don't want to miss out on that much upside. But with trading Tesla, it sure as hell is possible. All right. Anyway, let's look at the synthetic. They have a synthetic 225. Clearly, that's an awesome freaking spot to be in. Why? Because they are Tesla's 21% above the synthetic strike. So that thing's going to make a lot of money. Let's look at the calls for next week. Let's see. Looks like they closed them out pretty early because some of them are so close to in the money already. The lowest strike is 287.50. That's 0.89% out of the money. Then we have 292.50, 2.65% out of the money, 300, a 302.50, and a 307. So, I mean, they are anywhere from 0 to 5, 6, and 7% out of the money for next week. We'll see how that holds up, though, because, again, after a huge green week, typically, you know, you'd see maybe some red next week. I'm hoping for my options. All right. Should we celebrate? Because Tesla did hit a billion again. But the NAV is only 837. Should this be double digits? We wish, right? The trade price is 832. Synthetic is worth 216 mil. That's $1.80 per share. I mean, that's massive. So if Tesla can stay where it's at, continue to go up, obviously we're going to get a pretty payment next time around. Next time around is 18 days on May 14th. The 30-day IV of Tesla is 64%. IV estimate is 42 cents. Income estimate, negative 20 cents. All right. Moving on to NVIDIA. They obviously had trades, and it's probably going to be more of the same, to be honest. By the close call, wow, 9 cents. Wow. Okay. Looks like they won that trade. This one they lost. They lost 3.1 mil. It was a 107 strike. NVIDIA closed at 111. This trade, they lost 4.3 mil, 8.6 mil, 3.6 mil. And obviously, they opened new trades for next week, which we'll cover that in a second. But if I highlight, I'm just going to highlight all of them to make it quick. I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, they lost 13.5 mil, unfortunately, on the trades yesterday. All right, so you're probably going to see some cappage here as well. Here we go. NVIDIA went up 4.13% yesterday. NVIDIA went up 2.08%. So unfortunately, only a 50% capture there. Again, that hurts. Hurts very much. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. All right, synthetic-wise, they got a 95. They got a 110. And NVIDIA is at 111. So far, so good there. They both expire May 16th. Trades for next week, they got 4 of them, 110, 111, 113, 114. 2 of them are already in the money, and the other 2 are 1 and 2% out of the money. So good Lord. Good Lord. Let's just hope NVIDIA don't move next week. The value of this fund is 1.3 bill. The NAV is 1448, trade price 1443. The synthetic bailout is worth 98 mil. That's $1.09 per share. 30-day IV, 46%. IV estimate, 52 cents. Income estimate, negative 18 cents. Group B declares in 25 days because they just declared. So that'll be May 21st. Up next is your boy Conehead. So let's see what they got going on. But yeah, of course, I'm going to skim through the other trades. Hey, Amzy, we missed you. How you doing? Well, even Amzy lost their trades. They got blown through. Amazon closed at 188. Amzy had a 185 there. Let's see the other ones. They had a 182.50 that got blown through. So yeah, kind of a rough outing. They lost 2.4 mil on their trades. Let's see how Google did. GUI. GUI by the close 162.50. Oh, they won that trade. They won their trades. Look at you. GUI made 833,000 yesterday. Good job, GUI. All right, your boy Phoebe. This strike 497.50. They got freaking destroyed. Oh my God. Facebook closed at 547. Here's a 537 that got blown through. 535 got blown through. Yeah, they got beat up too. Let's highlight them. Let's see how much. Overall, they only lost 2.2 mil. I guess that's not a bad day compared to some others. All right, here's CONY. So before I look at CONY, let me just check the chat. Again, we are live, so I have to show some love to the people joining the live stream. There's 127 of them right now on this early Saturday morning, so thank you for joining. Really tempted to short Tesla, but it's such a meme stock. Yeah, I don't play the shorting game. What about YieldMax and MSTY? Can't go wrong, right? Good morning, Jimmy. All right, here's C Car Guy. As much as I love Tesla and own a bunch of it, TSLY does not work with YieldMax. The Tesla swings too much high and low. Yeah, man, it's unappreciated IV. Unappreciated IV. That's what I say. All right, let's look at CONY. Buy to close, 207.50. That got beat up, blown through. Okay, 202.50, blown through. Buy to close put, sell call. All right, they closed some of their synthetic. It looks like there was a forced closure, but they did make money on it. That's good. But more calls. They lost 207.50, blown through, 200. Oh, that definitely got blown through. So CONY overall, wait, oh my God. It's hard to scroll. Come on. Especially on the black, you can't see. They lost 3.1 mil. So, could be worse. All right, how did Coin do yesterday? They went up 2.75%, and CONY went up 2.17. There you go, 78% capture. That's actually pretty good. So as a CONY holder, you did pretty well. Synthetic wise, they have 3 of them: 185, 195, and a 220. Coin is at 209, so at least it's priced above 2 of the synthetics, so that's a good thing. As far as next week is concerned, they have 3 positions, 3 calls: 215, 217.50, and 220, 2, 3, and 4% out of the money. Little tight. So I don't know if crypto keeps going up the way it is, then poof, hooey. All right, the value of the CONY fund is $1 billion. The NAV is 828, trade price 829. Synthetic is worth 97 mil. That's 76 cents per share. All right, 30-day IV, 65%. IV estimate, 42 cents. Income estimate, -5 cents. Group C declares next week on April 30th. I will have their guesstimate tomorrow morning. Not sure if that one's going to be live. Haven't figured that out yet, but I'll try to let you know in advance before I make that video. All right. Not sure if you guys would prefer it be live, or, I don't think I did a guesstimate video live. Maybe I did 1 or 2. I don't know, but let me know. Feedback is always welcome. SMCI and Y are next, but let's go down the line here. MSFO, how they do? They had a 380 strike, and MSFT closed at 391. So yeah, blown through. Here's a 390. That was a little closer to the 391, so not too bad. Overall, trading wise, income outgo. They lost 75,290. Here's Zomo, bought a close. They had a 109. Nice. They won. Here's a 111. Nice. So Zomo made 389,000. I like it. JPMO, your boy, they had a 240. Unfortunately, JPM closed at 243, so they lost that one. Let's see. Overall, they lost 209,000. AMDY, let's see how you doing. You got a 91. Yeah, you got blown through. You lost 1.8 mil. PP. Everyone loves the PP fund, right? It's the PP fund. Now, they had a call of 63. PayPal closed at 65. So they lost. They lost 365,000. Who did I skip? Did I skip anyone? Super scrolling here. XYZY, our favorite ticker, not. All right. They had a 56. XYZ closed at 58. So, yeah, they lost. They lost about, what, 297,000. It's okay. It's okay. Here's Murney. There was a Murney fan earlier. Let's see how they did. They had a 26.50 strike. Moderna closed at 27.22. They almost won. It was a close one, but they lost 1.1 mil for the day. There's MSTY and the disaster of trades that is. But we covered it, luckily. What's YBIT doing? Buy to close. 54. Close one. Let's see how they did overall. Yeah, they only lost 584,000. Crashed. Who cares? ABNY, buy to close 119. Blown through. They got close to 122. That's $134,000 they lost. ABNY. Fiat and dips. Nobody cares. YQQQ. Nobody cares. TSMY, buy to close. They had a 160. TSM closed at 165. So that's a loser. Unfortunately, they lost 10,752. Again, when I say loser, these are just the weeklies. Obviously, they have a synthetic. When they don't cash out the synthetic, it does not reflect how much they made on there. But obviously, they made that money on paper if they didn't cash it out. All right, let me catch up on the comments. All right. Mike Nappy, looking to invest a large chunk of money from a settlement. If you could only pick one, would you do MSTY or TSLY? On the website, TSLY looks like it's paying out much more. I mean, that is a no-brainer for me. MSTY all day. In fact, I would not put any money in TSLY because I'm not a fan of TSLY. I don't know if you're asking me or if you're asking the others, but MSTY, man, it's the GOAT. It took me a while. I was stubborn. I was on the NVIDIA train, but MSTY and crypto and Bitcoin, I can't help it. I love it. Peter says live guesstimate is good. All right, Peter, you the man. Thank you for answering. No one else did. There's 140 of you. No one else did. Is everyone sleeping? Are you guys driving? People, you work today? All right. Is this a question? In your opinion, what is a fair price for PLTW? I have no idea. I honestly haven't even looked at PLTW. I'm pretty sure it's Round Hill, though. And they probably launched at 50. So I don't know, man. It really doesn't matter what that says anyway. It matters what the underlying says. So is Palantir a bargain price right now? If they are, then the PLTW probably is. But if they aren't, then no. Thanks, Rod. That's where I'm leaning. Yeah, man, I wouldn't rush it either, man. If you're getting settlement, it all depends on what your what your goals are. But Doc says go live, right? If Doc says it, that must be final, right? All right. Yeah, a lot of MSTY fans, you'll notice. Got to take a sip of water. All right, let's continue. All right, back to the spreadsheet. SMCY, how they do. Buy to close 36, close one. And buy to close 34.50. No, they lost. All right, let's see. Overall, they lost 899,000. SMCY did. SMCI, they went up 1.81%. SMCY went up 2.46%. I mean, that's insane. I don't even know how that's possible, but I guess the fact that it is, enjoy it. Soak it up, all right? Enjoy it all. The value of the let me just make sure the dates are right, too. Yeah, the dates are right. All right. SMCY has a synthetic 35. That's kind of at the money, so that's okay. We'll just leave that alone. Let's look at the calls for next week. They're selling calls, 4 strikes, 37, 37.50, 38, 38.50. Not really scattered. You do 1, 2, 4, and 5% out of the money. Are they safe? Probably not, but we'll see. The value of the fund is 143 mil. The NAV is 1983. Trade price 1990. Synthetic is worth 6.1 million, which comes to 85 cents per share. 30-day IV 93%. IV estimate 143. Income estimate disaster. Group D declares in 11 days on May 7th. Again, they declare with MSTY. Up next is your boy PLTY. So let's go back to the trades. PLTY is next. How did they do? Well, they did a buy call, sell put, sell call, buy call. Obviously, they got new money they added to the fund. That's pretty awesome. Oh my God. Okay. So buy to close 105, blown through. They lost that trade. Buy to close 105, blown through. They lost that trade. Buy to close 105, blown through. They lost that trade. Now, I highlighted this for a reason. Next Friday is the May 2nd. What in the actual hell are they doing? They are selling a call May 9th. It expires May 9th. It's 2 weeks out. I mean, they collected a pretty penny, $3.99 per share, 3.9 million, and they chose 125, 10% out of the money. Pretty good. Is this a new strategy? Are they trying something different? I don't know. Let's go to the file. Palantir yesterday, they went up 4.43%. PLTY went up 2.71%. That's a 61% capture. I mean, it sucks, but it's not terrible like some of these others. PLTY has a synthetic 100 on Palantir. Palantir's at 112. So that synthetic is sitting pretty. I'm so pretty. You're so pretty. All right, they have 4 strikes for Friday, and then 1 strike for next Friday. Not next Friday, the movie, everyone's favorite movie. But they have a 111, 113, 115, and 116. Oh my God, the 111 is in the money already, 1.58% in the money. And the 113 is 0.2% out of the money. The other two are 1 and 2% out of the money. Good God. So you need Palantir to have a freaking bloody week. And then you got this biggest position too, 10,000 contracts, 125 strike, 10.84% out of the money. Wow. I mean, again, very unusual play. They don't normally do something like this. So, you know, just, I don't know. I'm in shock. I wonder if that's going to be a thing from now on. The value, the assets under management. 300. It's growing, right? 305 mil. The NAV 63.38, trade price 63. Synthetic is worth 748 per share. Good Lord. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. All right, 30-day IV, 87%. IV estimate 426. Income estimate 944. Group B declares in 25 days, May 21st. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see what else we got to go through. Maro, how you doing? You got a 1450? Not bad. Looks like you won. And you got a 15. Looks like you won again. So cha-ching, they made 599,000. Carvani, your favorite car shop, your favorite car place, right? Strike price 222.50, 225. Yeah, they got their ass kicked. If we highlight their trades, let's see how they did. All right, Carvani, they lost 1.5 million. Right? Yeah, million. All right, then there's Winter. We don't care. Ulti had a crap load of trades. Do we want to see if Ulti made money? Let's see. If we highlight this. Again, sometimes Ulti pulling, I just don't trust the data because it's always funky. Wow. Holy crap. Ulti made 245 mil? Is that what? Something's not right. I don't trust it. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. What the hell is this crap? See, this is why don't even trust that. Forget I even said that. Chippity doo dah. All right, that's it, guys. That is YieldMax coverage. Now we will go to my options coverage because everyone loves to talk about my options, right? All right, let's get to it. Let's get the zoomage going for you guys. 175 sweet spot. I know it's annoying. I got to type it in every time, but you know. All right, so let me get to comments though. Show some appreciation to the people that are live. Peter says, Mike, go study about Bitcoin and it'll open your eyes. Mike says, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. I was just looking to maximize monthly income, and if a non-Bitcoin product offered more, I was open to it. All right, final decision. It's good to have a wrench here. Do not judge my PLTY. They pay me very well. I don't need you messing with them. Hey, I didn't mess with them. They actually didn't do too bad. All right. Ulti, good morning, M-E-M. Hey, there's Skittles. What's up, Skittles? Do you own TSLY? Are you talking to me? If so, no. Again, Tesla has unappreciated IV. I do trade TSLL though, which we'll get into right now, but I don't. The only YieldMax ones I own are the weeklies and MSTY. That's it. That's it. Pretty straightforward. All right, so let's go to my options plays on this tab. I just have MSTY put. Again, I sold a $20 strike. I sold a put for 20, which means if MSTY closes below 20 by May 2nd, which is next week, I have to buy 100 shares at $20. However, MSTY is at $23.59, so 15% out of the money at the moment. So it's looking like this put will expire worthless, but we'll see, man. A lot can happen. What did I get for selling this put? Well, I got $50, and all I had to do was shell out $2,000. So this $2,000, it sits on hold, and I collect $50. And guess what? There's two scenarios. Either I have to buy MSTY at 20. Oh no, please no. Or I get my 2,000 back and I keep the 50, obviously, in both scenarios. So again, I love buying puts. I mean, I love buying MSTY through selling puts. All right. So up next, let's see what I did on TSLL yesterday. So guys, Tesla went freaking, ape yesterday. Went ape. It went mooning, and it didn't even tell us. So I had to make some moves. I had a call. I had a 9 call. I had a 950 call, and I had a 10 call. Do you believe it? If I scroll down, TSLL closed at 1045. So of course, I did not want my 910 or 950 getting assigned. So where are they? So here's the 950 that expired yesterday. Here's the 9, and then here's the 10. All right, so if I highlight these are the ones that expired yesterday. So what I have to do, if you go over here, rolling order, see it in pink, I'm purple, rolling order. So I had to roll those, which means, what does that mean? That means I buy to close these. I buy to close the call, and I sell to open the new calls. And here they are. They're down here, the 9, the 950, and the 10. So what did I get? Well, it's right here. I basically, I paid 54 cents to close the 9, and I got $1.02 to open the new 9. So that's a 48 cents per share credit. For this one, I got 42 cents. For the 950, I got 42 cents per share credit. And for the 10, I got 60 cents per share credit. In the end, for rolling those positions, I got $150. I mean, amazing, right? Amazing. Obviously, no, I don't want these shares to be sold at these prices because my cost basis is awful. Awful, awful. It's 1722. If you consider my cost basis with even the options, it's 1564. I mean, I'm not considering that, but again, I'm still, you don't want to lose these. I don't want to lose these shares at this cheaper price. So what I'm hoping for is well, number one, I'm rolling this, collecting premium in the meantime, and I'm hoping TSLL maybe goes down next week and below this position. But if it doesn't, and it doesn't ever go back down, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create rolling orders every single week as long as I am allowed. And then eventually they will be assigned and I will have to take the hit. And it's okay. It's okay. That's part of the risk. All right, what else did I have expiring yesterday? I have a $12 call. Obviously, that one was pretty safe. That one, actually, no, I closed that one, though, earlier. And I did have 2 puts. I had a 6 and a 5. Obviously, these were safe, so those expired worthless. And I got my collateral back, a whopping 600 and 500. Then for next week, if we look here, what do I got for next week? Unfortunately, I have a $10 call for next week, but I also have an 11, 1150, and then I got these 3 that I had to roll. So I got all kinds of calls ready for next week, and it should be a good one. So we'll go from there. So now what I can do, since I talked about these, I can hide them, right? I guess I don't even have to make them gray. I can just hide them, and then we go like that, and then like that, right? And now we have what's left over, and this is what's active. So all I got is calls. Again, I'm selling calls, 2, 4, 6 calls. That means 6 contracts. 6 contracts equals 600 shares. I have 900 shares. That means I could sell calls next week on 300 more. So we'll see what happens with TSLL next week. NVDX, what do I got going on? Well, I didn't do anything yesterday because I had already rolled my trades, and I closed them out and we moved on. So I did rolling orders here, you see, and then we had a put. Where is it? $6 put. NVDX closed at 754, which is above $6. So that expired worthless. So we can mark that here, and then we can move on, right? So now we can get rid of these, 425s. So now the focus next week is these calls, 6, 657. But again, NVDX, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move on from NVDX and keep the focus on my indexes and TSLL. Here's one of the indexes, TNA. Now, what expired yesterday? Well, TNA also had a pretty good day. So obviously this $18 put, this expired worthless. Why? Because TNA closed above 18, way above 18. It closed at 25.22. All right, so that's one thing. And then I had 2 calls. I had a 24 and a 25, both of which expired yesterday. And look what TNA closed at. So obviously I cannot let those expire in the money because they would have gotten assigned and I would have had to sell shares at that price. So I did a roll. What did I roll it to? Well, I kept it the same strike. Right here, you see the 24. So for the 24, what did I make? I gotta get a sip of water. A lot of yelling at baseball yesterday, so I'm losing my voice already. So for TNA for the 24, I don't know if you guys can see the screen. I paid 69 cents to buy to close the old position, and I got $1.49 credit on the new, so 80 cents per share on that. And then for the 25, I got a total of $1.03 per share credit. So again, cha-ching, show me the money, good. So that's good. We rolled them. We're not going to get assigned, so we can move on. Now, what else we got for next week? So we got the 24 and the 25. TNA was down earlier on. I sold the put at 21. That's 16% out of the money. How much did I get? I collected 25 cents per share, or $25. And so for yesterday, I did 3 transactions. I made $208. That's like the old days, man. Just making good money in one freaking day on one stock, one ETF, I should say. And then I sold calls for next week. I got a 28 and a 29. I made $28 and 15 on those. So those are way out of the money still. We'll see where TNA lands. But right now, unfortunately, the 24 and the 25 are in the money. They are in danger. But again, after such a green week, maybe it'll chill out next week and we'll be okay. All right. So that's the update on TSLL, NVDX, and TNA. So here's the weekly income summary. So this, obviously, this MSTY was not done this week. But for TSLL, I got the weekly total. I made $201 in options premium on TSLL. For NVDX, I made $71. And for TNA, I made $273. All right. So if I go to the 2025 income, I go to week ending 4/25. For this week, I made $545, which, much better than last week and the week before and the week before that. So obviously I'm finally boosting up my numbers as the market, is doing, it's coming back somewhat, a little faster than I wanted, but it's okay. Again, we're going to make money on the way up. Hopefully we don't lose capital, but if we do, it happens. It's all good. It's all a learning experience as well. All right, so that's the update on my options trading. If you have any questions on options, if you have any questions on YieldMax, leave them down below. We are 52 minutes in. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? Let's go through some comments here. So LA Appliance, who has a YouTube channel, by the way, go check him out. He likes TSLY. All right. Doc likes Tesla and TSLY. Mike Nappy owns MSTY and TSLY. And Pistol Pete is overweight on MSTY. Can you be overweight on MSTY? Is there such a thing? And he's long on Tesla, Bitcoin, and Solana. And Fred says, thank you. Thank you for being here, Fred. Ice Game loves the Rob show. I'm a MSTY holder, and I love it. You mean the Rod show? A lot of people do call me Rob, though. I guess they think, well, Rob is more of a common name, clearly. But Rod is obviously short for retire on dividends. People have been just using that, and it's been working. So that's, I run with it, Go with it from there. All right. What else, guys? Anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out for the day? Dragos, I own way too much YieldMax and NVIDIA. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not like, well, YieldMax has been taking a beating. NVIDIA, it depends when you bought NVIDIA, though, I guess. Here's a question from Mike Nappy. Would you pay off $50K debt of low interest or use a $50K for MSTY and use the payments for, well, I don't know if you are familiar, Mike, with my dividend car account, but we got a car loan for about $20K, and I was originally just going to pay it out of the brokerage money. And what I did is I kept it in the brokerage. And what I do is I schedule the car payments automatically to come out of the brokerage. So the dividend car account, which is a different account, which I trade options on, that account I invest in high yield ETFs that pay weekly. And they pay me weekly in order to pay off bills such as the car payment and other bills as well. And I will recap that account at the end of April, as I will my Retire Now account as well. So you know, stay tuned for that. But yeah, I pay my bills out of the brokerage, almost every bill except like property tax. But yeah, I'm, you know, is it the smart move? No, Dave Ramsey would yell at you, right? Dave Ramsey would scream at you and say, no debt. The borrower is slave to the lender. So you should have no debt. Which, I mean, again, that's debatable. But I get the whole mindset, because some people, when they have debt, they just don't pay it off, and it just gets out of control. Muhammad says, always pay off debt unless it's making you money. All right. Can you ever own too much YieldMax? Yeah, exactly. Good question. Awesome. Thanks. That makes sense. Again, Mike Nappy, this is not financial advice. Please, that's just my opinion on what I'm doing. Do your own research and do what's best for you. I think it depends on how low the interest is and if MSTY pays out more. It takes money to make money. Thanks for the update. Have a great day, all. But yeah, guys, go check out LA Appliance. He has a premiere at 7:30. It's coming up, actually. So he's going to fix something. I didn't check today's thumbnail. LA, what are you fixing today if you're still here? And actually share your link. Share your link to your video. Mike, yeah. No, thanks for the questions, Mike. It was a good time. But yeah, man, I think that's it, because we're 56 minutes in. I hear chaos going on upstairs, so that means all the kids are awake. So as always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we will try again next time. All right. Does that work? I don't know. But yeah, no gold digger singing today. I set up this goal thing. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a goal, like a super chat thing. If you hit a certain thing, I would sing. I just did it for fun, obviously. We didn't hit the goal. It's okay. What else? If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them down below. Thank you all for joining the actual live stream. I know it's early for some of you, so some of you could not make it. So thank you. Thank you the others that are watching it later. And Skittles is 13 minutes behind in the live. It's okay. It's all good, Skittles. We all love Skittles, right? Can't go wrong with Skittles. All right, I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to say, guys, thank you for watching, and have a great weekend. We will talk tomorrow morning during the estimate video. All right. So thank you for joining, and have a great one. Later.